I want to show you all a few clips of Donald Trump getting booed every single time his face popped up on the big screen at the Washington Commanders game today. Keep in mind, we're in month 2 of the government shutdown, where service workers are hurting, most workers are hurting, military families are struggling to get food, Americans' healthcare premiums are about to double. I could continue going on, but Donald Trump is more focused on the Washington Commanders game, his ballroom. He's even trying to pressure, according to reports, which we'll get to, he's trying to pressure the stadium into changing it and naming it after him. Trump wants the Commanders' new DC stadium named after him. I mean, he can't tariff them, so who knows what kind of leverage he's going to try to gain. But let's start off with the clip of him getting booed. Then I really do want to walk through the stakes of the government shutdown, Trump's popularity decreasing, and just break down where we're at with everything. Take a look here. Okay, there's a few things you have to understand. First of all, Johnny MAGA on Twitter was like, this is the most disgraceful thing I have ever seen. I'm sorry, but you guys said way worse about Biden. You guys have said worse about any Democrat ever. The idea that Trump, in month 2 of a government shutdown, can't get booed is absurd, but here's why he's getting booed. Number 1, military families are struggling. Number 2, travel is being delayed or being, stunted to such an extent that it's getting more dangerous. Here's Sean Duffy, our Secretary of Transportation, floating the idea, the scary idea of putting random air traffic controllers in who aren't properly trained. Listen to what he says on CNN.
I don't want to see disruption for the American people. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, texted me yesterday and said, I might have some air traffic controllers. If you could use them, I'm going to offer them to you. Now, I don't know that I can, Jake, because they're not certified in the airspaces that we need them. But if I can, I'm going to use them. Everyone in this administration, at the direction of President Trump, has said minimize the pain on Americans. So this is not political. This is strictly safety. And I'm doing what I can in a mess that Democrats have put on my lap. And now I'm trying to keep the American people safe and keep...
Republicans are the ones that have voted 14 times to strip health care away from millions of Americans and keep the government closed. But you guys heard what our Secretary of Transportation just said, right? He said they're thinking about putting some air traffic controllers in there who aren't properly trained for these exact airspaces. What are we doing here? Why are you saying this on TV? Why are you floating this idea? Here's another clip of Donald Trump getting booed at the exact same game. Dude, this guy is unpopular. This guy is historically unpopular. I mean, that's what most of the polls say. Let's run through this. Trump job approval rating. As the months have gone on, and now we're in November, his approval rating, which you see as the blue line right here, is plummeting down to the low 40s. Disapproval is going up. I mean, it's for a few reasons. First of all, the government shutdown coinciding with his obsession with this ballroom is a really bad look, and Americans are like, dude, why are you gaslighting us about prices being down when we feel like prices are up and you're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on pet projects? It's insane. But even beyond the immediate tangible pain that Americans feel in their prices on a daily basis, this government shutdown has a lot of secondary downstream effects. So we can talk about SNAP benefits kind of going away for millions of Americans, but then states stepped in at the last minute. But then Trump said, wait a minute, we don't want states to step in because it actually gives us leverage when Americans are starving. At the same time, anybody who is relying on the ACA will see an increase in their premiums. So this hurts a lot of Americans. And nearly 1 year after he was elected, the election was a year ago, but he took office about 9 months ago, Trump's approval rating has absolutely plummeted. And that means Democrats have more leverage than ever right now. Only a few days ago, less than a week ago, we saw Tuesday's special elections where Republicans got clobbered across the country. not only in blue areas and blue cities, but also in red states like Georgia. In Georgia, we dominated in statewide races that we hadn't won in decades by the biggest margins in decades. So Democrats do have momentum, and Donald Trump is losing momentum. Aaron Parnas points out on Twitter, Donald Trump is deeply unpopular across America. Once you hear the booing, you understand why they got blown out. And this brings me on to a huge point that I want to talk about. And stick around for this. Make sure you watch until the end, because we are getting rumors that Democrats are moving towards a vote to open the government back up with absolutely no concessions regarding healthcare, meaning millions of Americans could potentially get kicked off or lose access to their health insurance due to premiums skyrocketing and them being priced out. Now, I want to be very clear. The government needs to be reopened, but under no circumstances should Democrats vote for a CR that does not continue funding this pre-existing healthcare. It's not a crazy ask. It's not even an ask at all. We're saying we want to continue the status quo funding that Americans have access to. So just really quickly, if you don't think Democrats should cave, if you think Democrats should continue to fight, make sure you drop a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe, because we want to help boost this exact message for real. So Donald Trump is at a uniquely vulnerable moment where they just got clobbered in an election, where they are responsible for Americans struggling with prices, where the government is shut down because Republicans don't even know how to negotiate. Under Biden, we kept the government open over and over and over. We passed 14 different CRs. And the reason why is because Biden actually allowed negotiation to happen. He was like, hey, if you guys want to include something, then we'll talk to you about it, because that is how the government works. That is what the system is built upon. 5th grade class teaches you that compromise is necessary, and yet Republicans don't want to compromise. So the point here is, when we see Donald Trump getting viciously booed at these games, and then we see Democratic leadership saying that they're going to cave, it's annoying. Now, I just want to clarify. Apparently, it's not Schumer or it's not leaders like Jeffries that are caving. It's a caucus of 8 to 10 moderate Democrats whose hands are shaky, and they're just thinking about it. It's a rumor, but it's something that we need to make sure we hold the line on, because we saw the power of using the mechanisms that we have to our advantage. We saw the power of flipping these institutions back on them. I mean, Gavin Newsom held a Democratic election in California over Proposition 50, and in doing so, they won. They're now able to neutralize anything Texas does to redraw the maps and rig the midterm. So now is absolutely not the time to give up or to cave. It's time to double down on the message. The message is so easy to prove as well. Like we just got an article that says, sources, Trump wants Commander's new DC stadium to be named for him. They're building a $3.4 billion stadium, and he wants it to be named after him. He's probably going to try to use some leverage or some weird executive loophole or some executive authority to pressure them into doing it. Like he does with everything else, he does not care about using and abusing power dynamics to his advantage, whether it was with women in the 90s, whether it was with beauty pageants in the 2000s, whether it's with this now. He uses the power dynamics and abuses them to gain for himself, not the American people. If we stay on message, then we can continue to win. But if we cave, if Democrats, for some reason, cave, then it shows the American people that we're not going to fight. I'm going to leave it there. Double check to make sure you're subscribed. I love you all. Peace out.